Hey, good morning. This is March 15th, Monday, and the Master Pattern Report, Dr. Bob Flower. Okay, so let's look at what happened last week. We shorted the dollar, and sure enough, down it went on Friday. Big time. Made a nice score on that. We went long the S&P, and up it went all week, and we did pretty well on that. We showed you a top on silver on the 9th, and sure enough, that's just what it's done there. It's been stalled there for a while, and we think we might see a temporary top here. We're reading the Master Pattern better and better, folks, and it's getting better and better. Finding out new things every day, and I just want to review the charts for you. By the way, for those of you who think the charts are poor, you can go to the website, and we have enhanced charts there, to some degree. Or the other thing you can do is, we have a 501c3. Make a donation. We'll get ourselves a real outstanding computer or graphic model from there. Okay, just keep that in mind. All right, so let's take a look at this silver chart from last week, and this is a little extended beyond a couple of days more. As we said, we had said the market was topping on the 8th or the 9th, taking a change of direction, and as you can see here, that's exactly what happened. We have had a stall here, and we're ready to make another move. We're playing this week with the silver down with a very close stop. As if it breaks, it's going to break the other way. Whatever way it breaks, it's going to break big. Right? We think that right now it looks like it's down. Okay. All right. This is a chart of the Dow Jones, and this is a new little gimmick that we found with the Master Pattern, and that is when there are certain high and low point alignments, and this little one here happens to be one. What happens is you get major changes every 45 degrees or multiple of 45 degrees. All right, and that's exactly what happened with this one. You can see, if you look on the website chart, you can see it better. There's 1, 2, three. There's 4 changes here, and every one of them are a total of 45 degrees, separated by 45 degrees, except for the last one, which is 180 degrees. So this particular aspect of the Master Pattern enables us to see when changes might be occurring. Okay, we're getting better and better at this. We're really getting this down to a science. And by the way, we are going to talk about this as a science and the human mind and the connection. Okay, we'll be doing that next week. All right. So now, this week we still like the S&P. We think that the next it did penetrate that 1047 level, although it pulled back a little bit. But we think it's going to be good up to around 1062. I'm sorry, 1162. And it breaks there. We think that the ultimate high on this move is going to be about 1187 before we see any heavy retracement. Okay, so that's where we're reading it. We're short the dollar. We think the dollar's going to have some more problems here. China is really causing some havoc, and we like silver. Play silver on the short side temporarily with some close stops. We also like the euro here. We think the euro is going to make a couple of point move. So those of you that are into commodity forex, keep an eye on that. We think Wednesday, the 18th, is the key day for the markets for this week. Okay, so socio-political, some news this week. Let's talk deflation. Why deflation? Well, because people are out of work. Over 17% unemployment. If you figure in, the part-timers out of work and the people who have gone off of assistance and people who are self-employed who are not employed anymore. And that's one big reason. There isn't enough money around. But mostly because of real estate. And I've been telling you for the past 3 years that until real estate starts to make at least a bottom, and we're not there yet, but at least at the bottoms, we're not going to see any recovery, folks. And if real estate doesn't recover, we're not going to recover. That's it. And now I'm not talking about it going back to prior levels like it was in 2006, 5, 6, or 7. I'm talking about it leveling off and maybe, a very, very, very modest increase on an annual basis, which is where it used to be, the way it used to be, and the way it should be. Now let's talk a little bit more about this. We told you last month we expected a high surge of properties to come back on the market, and sure enough, this month listings increased 34%. From last year. That's huge. That's a big increase. And it doesn't reflect everything that was on the market earlier prior to that. So we're getting a lot more properties on the market. We know at least two major banks that are about to put out over $100 billion in properties on the market. In addition to the increase in the private sector. Now, many of these properties for sale by the banks are short sales or mortgage discounts, sometimes as much as 65 to 70% discounts. So not only is the homeowner wiped out, but the lenders are reduced in value, in equity, to a very large extent. That's deflation. And there are no other larger scale industries that are picking up the balance, such as automobiles. The stimulus didn't work in the respect that much of their money went to states for salaries and expenses, not a repeatable item for generating revenue at all. While we're at it, I must express my deep disappointment in the White House. This president is looking at his tenure as, how can I be cited in history, my place in history, rather than what is good for the country. I'm sorry, but that's become very, very evident. It's become egomaniacal in this whole thing. Nothing for real estate, as well as a poor stimulus plan and a health reform bill without the two major reforms, tort reform and interstate policy purchase program. Hey, go to our website for more on this, and we'll have some more on this next week. But next week, what we're going to do is we're going to cover profiling people by way of the master pattern. I'm going to show you how there's a direct connection between these market moves and the way the human mind works. Fascinating, cosmic. Have a good week, folks. See you next week.